Alright, Shalom. Before I begin this video, all praise, honor, and glory goes into Yahweh, Baal Shem, Yahweh Shai, Baal Shem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, from the elder apostle to on down. Alright. As well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops, along with you brothers laboring through spirit and power of Yahweh, Baal Shem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, Barakatham. To you brothers, may the Lord continue to bless you brothers. And this is just a quick part 2 to the video on the repossessions of vehicles and just repossessions in general. It got cut short. So this is just a small part 2, but I have another article that's just up, but it's basically the same as the other article. It says finances are getting tighter. U.S. car repossessions surge as more Americans default on auto loans. Wall Street sounds alarm over strain throughout car lending market as experts warn of potential risks for wider economy. Alarm bells are ringing on Wall Street. The recent collapses of Tricolor, a used car seller and subprime auto lender, and First Brands, an auto parts supplier, have put the finance industry on edge, almost 2 decades after problems in the subprime mortgage lending market set the stage for the global financial crisis. When you see one cockroach, there are probably more. Jimmy Dimon, the J.P. Morgan Chase CEO, ominously cautioned analysts this week after the U.S.'s largest bank disclosed a $170 million charge tied to Tricolor's bankruptcy. Everyone should be forewarned on this one. As the car lending market shows signs of strain, businesses around repossessions is booming. Right now, we're overwhelmed with work. The so-called repo man, tasked with recovering vehicles from drivers who default on loan agreements, was eulogized in music by Bruce Springsteen and in the 1984 Alex Cox film Repo Man. Repossessions, especially in the subprime auto market, are on the rise, according to Badine, who is also president of the Allied Finance Adjusters Trade Body. We've seen some subprimes making changes, which probably indicates they're having issues, he said. They're not financing cars like they were 2 years ago. They were financing anybody. While few are bracing for a crisis on the scale of the crash that pushed the world's economy to the brink in 2008, subprime auto lending is a fraction of the $1.7 trillion overall car lending business. The collapses of Tricolor and First Brands have drawn the car sector into the spotlight. Amid fears, they highlight credit stress in lower income households, as well as problems in credit markets tied to auto debt. First Brands received approval for $500 million rescue financing from a bankruptcy court. So they good. They gonna get bought out. Okay, it's the people that that owe the money that's gonna be jacked up. The wider fear, and the one causing consternation among investors, is what the troubles inside this one market might indicate about broader pressures. All right, so other things, right, rippling throughout the wider economy. Yeah, because if they can't afford cars, they can't afford homes, their businesses, so on and so forth. Distress in auto lending broadly is often seen as a bellwether to changing circumstances in the U.S. economy. Yes, so it's an indicator of what's to come. All right, it says because Americans, particularly in the lower income brackets, tend to put their highest priority into auto payments, which that's basically a shot at you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. the Israelites, because for the most part they're the lower income. Yet Jake won an $800 car bill, right? It says having a car is essential to being able to work. So when we see stress in the auto financing market, we typically receive that as an indication that household finances are getting tighter. An estimated 100 million Americans hold auto loans, with 85% of new car purchases and 55% of used car purchases financed. It is the third largest consumer credit market in the U.S., behind mortgages and student loans. So it's a significant amount of people, and a lot of the people that have these big auto loans also have mortgages and student loan debt. And they need somewhere to live, right? So as things continue to get worse, you're going to see people's houses at risk. You go ahead and get a couple of precepts. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, and I'm just going to start at 1. The point is down a little bit, but I'm going to start at 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them yet. So before the Lord really turns up the heat in this place, right, we have to seek Yahweh Shem Yahushua. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. The Lord is going to send, his angels to seek and destroy. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, going into the elite, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, right? And this place is screeching to a halt. All right, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. This place is through. Everybody blind. They don't know what the hell's going on. They through. All right, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Yeah, because it's going to get to the point where it's no business. All right, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. In this current system, how everything is set up, it's about to be a complete turning upside down, of this current system. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail. Yes, this place is through. It's going to be all out chaos. This ain't going back to normal. Right? Because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. They're going to be hungry as hell, protesting, angry. All right, it starts with you getting your car taken away. Then, you defaulting on them student loans. Then, all right, now you defaulting on that mortgage. All right, now you can't afford food. Now it's getting worse and worse. Ecclesiastes 12:6. Or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua, who gave it. So we gonna get to the point where the Lord gonna let loose. He's going to save the elect, and he's going to destroy everybody else. It says, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua, who gave it. Vanities of vanities, saith the preacher, all is vanity. Oh, Salakia. Ecclesiastes 12, In 9 it says, and moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yea, he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs, right? So through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we get that wisdom. Lord is setting up the prophecy, showing us, teaching us. Verse 10, the preacher sought to find out acceptable words, and that which was written was upright, even words of truth. So we lean upon these words as everybody else is getting shit taken away from them. You know, the Lord is adding to us. Things are going to continue to get worse for these people, and it's going to get better for the elect. You know, and that's something that we wait patiently for. You know, Lord's will, the Lord doesn't repo, the spirit. Psalms 51. That's just a prayer for the Lord to continue to deal with us. Lord's will, the Lord continues to work with you, brothers. Lord's will, the Lord is working with me through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, because we know that we're basically at the end, man. All these repos, this is going to lead to, the taking away of houses, different possessions and things like that. And ultimately, we know the chip is coming. Salakia. I'm just going to read these last few verses. Ecclesiastes 12 and 11. The words of the wise are as goads and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. Who's that shepherd? Yahushua. All right, our Lord. And each precept, each chapter, right, establishes this truth more and more. All right, verse 12. And further by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books, there is no end. So this is the truth. You can have all these different books. You can do all this endless research, which really, it's good to look into, different, geography books and things like that. Yet ultimately we're taught from the scriptures. Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. And further by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books, there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. So you want to keep it, you want to keep it simple. You don't want to, I read 20 different books on this and that. No, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. It says, fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So that's what we've been sent to do. Right? For Yahweh Shem Yahushua shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So the Lord knows, and the Lord can tell. And the Lord can tell, who's being good and who's being evil. Going back to the title of the video with the repossessions, it's a reason why those certain things are happening. It's a certain reason why Jake catching the hell that he catching. So in order to avoid those things, we got to serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's ultimately how you get less hell put on you. Because you gonna have hell put on you. That's part of it. I'm gonna read it again. Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. For Yahweh Shem Yahushua shall bring every work into judgment. So the good and the evil. So we're putting good out by serving the Lord. All right, and the wicked, they're putting out evil. So that's what that's what they reap. So that's what they sowing. All right, but this is just a quick part two to the one video based on the repossessions, and that one wasn't completed through. So there was a part two. So with that, Lord's will, you are edified. Call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Once again, double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, as well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops, all right, and you brothers teaching and preaching all throughout the four winds of the earth. All right, may Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bashem Rachak, Wadash have mercy upon you brothers, continue to bless you brothers, uplift you brothers through the Spirit. Alright, because it's we in the times of evil. People are doing evil. Alright, Lord's will, we continue to do good. The Lord is looking after us. Alright, as this place continues to get worse, more repos are only going to increase. Alright, things are only going to continue to get worse. That's what that Kwame Ashala and a Baba Ball. Alright, Shalom.